Hey, thanks for tuning back in. As some of you know, I'm trying to figure out neural networks from scratch. In other words, not theft-based AI, but just clean AI. And how could I, as an artist, leverage this technology in a manner that doesn't involve selling my soul? That is the journey that I have been on for years now, actually. So, um, I made some really great progress this week. Let me bring this up. And what we have here is a neural network that I built from scratch using those two images that you saw at the very beginning, a photograph of a cloud and a sketch, which I think would surprise most, even experts who work in the field of neural networks, who claim, no, you need vast amounts of data. There's the only way we could ever have AI is if we actually swept up and stole everything that is online, because without that amount of data, you really can't have AI. And that is, of course, something I've been trying to prove wrong, and I believe that I actually have. So let me show you what this does. I can bring in a sketch and make a cloud formation out of it. Now, why is this significant? There's a lot of things going on here that have taken me a while to figure out. Number one of the things you're trying to do, this is a convolutional neural network, which means that it's a neural network composed of a grid of pixels, essentially. And CNNs are used for generating images or manipulating images, unlike LLMs, large language models like ChatGPT, which are designed to work with words. And those are actually far more complex than convolutional neural networks. And with a convolutional neural network, what you're trying to do is instruct the system to understand what line really is. And of course, in this case, what I'm trying to do is ignore the fact that there's a line there. I don't want to see lines in here. I want to see the form. I want to see the form that the line represents. And so that's challenge number one. Challenge number two is, how do we get the thing to understand what is it and what is not it? Figure-ground relationships. As you can see here, by just simply loading the sketch and right away, it was able to figure that out. Let me load something else, a little drawing of a bear. Now here I'm running into a challenge. I'll get into this in a minute. So let me load a slightly different one. Now here's one that's working fairly well. Let me go back to that one that wasn't working so well. So one of the other challenges that you have to grapple with is the fact that when you're building the system and what they call training, I'd rather not use that word because it anthropomorphizes the technology, and I think that in and of itself is wrong. One of the things you have to do when you're trying to build the network to understand these things is provide it with, if the intention is to take sketches and render them, essentially, which is what I'm trying to do, you need to give it that same sketch in lots of different ways. So this is a really rough pencil drawing, but I really would also have to give it a clean ink drawing as well, or a really poorly reproduced version of this on really yellowed, dirty paper, one with really clean paper. You'd need to give it all manner of variations of the paired material so that it could understand a drawing regardless of the quality of the drawing. So this was a really rough drawing and with really thick lines, and that is kind of confusing the system because I didn't give it, if we go to my original training data, I gave it a very clean digital sketch. And there's a lot of thought that went into this that may not be perceptible right off the bat. One of them being that I kept a fairly consistent line width throughout. I deliberately have 3 different values, and I have portions of overlap. Okay. And also I made sure that the background was 100% white, whereas the cloud, not necessarily. Just a shade darker than that. And with the truth, this is the paired truth material. So this is what I'm telling it. This is the kind of material I'm going to give you. Turn it into this. I made sure that it was a solid color blue, and there were no variations there, so that the only place with variations was in the cloud. In addition to this, I also augmented the data, and that looks like this. I could take a single image and I could wrap it around multiple times, flip it horizontally, etc. So that with one single source material, I could potentially have hundreds. Now, because of this issue of only having a single style of drawing, I'm running into issues like this. And then I thought, gosh, I was trying for a while to give it multiple different versions of the line art. And that, of course, is time consuming, not only for going through the process of generating all the epochs, but also generating the content, having to draw the thing in multiple ways. And then I decided to sort of flip the paradigm and said, you know what, instead of providing it multiple drawings, how about regardless of the drawing that the user inputs, they can manipulate that content and turn it into something that might resemble the source material. And so here I've got contrast, brightness, sliders that I can use to fine tune this thing until I can get this bear to actually render out, right? And with just with that alone, I saved myself so much time, and I was able to basically only rely on a single paired asset, and regardless of what the user inputs as their sketch, they can get it to render it out. Now, in this case, it's rendering it like a cloud, but you could imagine I can use this exact same architecture now. This is my plan next, to try to render it out into something that resembles a person. And so that will probably require more than just one image, but the fact that I can get this far with one image goes to show you that if I simply add more images to this architecture, not many more, I could potentially have a system that renders human figures, for example, or mechanical objects. And that's what's going to happen next. That's where I'm going from here, because my ultimate goal is to be able to take my sketches and render them ethically using something that I built myself. And once I'm done with this, I'm planning on documenting it all, publishing all the architecture and the step-by-step process so that you yourself can actually do this with your own sketches, your own source material, and be able to build yourself a tool that empowers you, that allows you to take the technology and empowers you 100%, not only ethically, but authentically. One of the things that I'm seeing with all the AI stuff that's being generated out there is there's no authenticity to it. It's an amalgamation of everything in a way. And there's no spark of true artistic creativity in it. It just kind of resembles a mixture of everything that's out there already. And so with a tool like this, I'm hoping that artists will be able to become friends with artificial intelligence. And I'm also trying to make it clear to the world that we should not conflate AI with theft-based AI. These are two completely different things. And I don't like the fact that we are conflating the two and assuming that one and the other are the same. So let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe if you'd like to see my next update on this journey. And please share and spread the word. Okay? Thanks for watching.